Hello, and welcome to episode 21 of the Rugged Angel podcast. I am your host, Kahmeela. August is here, which means that summer is almost gone, and that makes me sad. I would like to hold on to a couple more summer months. That would be great. Even though it's been really hot here in Pittsburgh, I still really would. I just love, I prefer the hot weather as to the cold and the snow. But I haven't had a chance to do any vacationing as of yet. Hopefully that happens towards the end of this month. Hopefully you've had some time to do some vacay, experience life, frolic by the ocean or lounge by the pool or just lay in some AC and binge watch your favorite films or, go take advantage of the matinees and the movie theaters. Just read a book. Do what you do. I don't presume to know, how you like to spend your time. However you relax, however you wash your cares away, you do you and be happy for it. So hopefully you've had a chance to enjoy your summer. The Pittsburgh 48-Hour Film Project is wrapped. Another sign that summer is coming to an end. Thank you to everyone who came out, all the audiences who came to watch, all the filmmakers who participated, all the families and friends and volunteers who helped me out, who helped the filmmakers out, to the judges who watched all the films and, took time out of their busy schedules to make sure that we had a proper film to represent Pittsburgh at Filmapalooza, and we do. Congratulations to So Fresh Films for their film Change for winning the title of Best Film of Pittsburgh 2015. Also, congratulations to the runner-up, Command Pictures, for their film Fuzzy Nuts. I will be posting links to those films and list of the full winners on ruggedangel.com, so be on the lookout for that. You can also find the full list of winners, everybody who walked away with an award, on the Pittsburgh 48-Hour Film Project website at 48hourfilm.com/Pittsburgh. Just because some people walked away with a trophy and some did not, does not mean that all the films weren't amazing, because the filmmakers in Pittsburgh this year raised the bar. It was extremely difficult, from what I understand from the judges, to really just narrow down everybody, to narrow down winners. So congratulations to all of you who made a film in 48 hours, and to all of those who continue to follow your own filmmaking dreams and your passion of filmmaking. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. And also be on the lookout for the Pittsburgh 48-Hour Horror Film Project coming in October. Registration will open in August, in a couple weeks here for that. If you are a woman who is living her life out loud, and you have a story to tell and you want to tell it on the Rugged Angel podcast, please let me know. I would love to hear from you. So please send me an email at ruggedangel@gmail.com, and we'll see what we can do about getting you on the podcast. My guest this week is Ziegler. She's an old friend. We went to school together at the Art Institute of Pittsburgh 15 bajillion years ago. When I knew Lisa back then, she was very quiet, very shy, very timid. I always felt kind of protective of her, like a younger sister. But since then, Lisa has grown up, and she has come out of her shell. This is a true story of a young woman who has completely come out of her shell and achieving things that she never thought she could. She is involved with Beachbody LLC. They coach people into a healthier way of living with fitness and nutrition training. And Lisa has been on this path for quite some time, and I'm just extremely proud of her for doing that. Also, I gush over her quite a bit during this podcast, so please excuse that. Also, when we were recording this episode, this was the day before Lisa was on her way to go get certified as a Cize instructor. And since then, she has gotten the news that she is certified Cize instructor. So congratulations, Lisa. You rock. I am proud of you, and I can't tell you how much. Your words of wisdom today: the sign of a beautiful person is that they always see beauty in others. You have an over an hour commute every day.
A little more than that. It's over 3, it's 2.5 hours. But yeah, it's back and forth. It comes to 2.5 hours.
That's gross.
Depending on traffic. It is gross. It's not fun at all. I don't like it, but I have to do what you have to do.
This is true. Well, welcome, Lisa Ziegler, to the Rugged Angel podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I'm super excited to have you on. I have known Lisa for, I guess, over like about 15 years or so. We went to AIP together, the Art Institute, and I haven't seen you, probably since graduation in 2000.
Yeah, I mean, it may have been. I think we may have seen each other a few times
'Cause
after that, but
you
briefly.
didn't stay around. You didn't stay in Pittsburgh that long after we graduated.
No, I didn't. No, I think it was like a couple of months, and then I went back home to New York. So
Right.
I did visit some friends a few times afterwards. I think there were like a few gatherings here and there where we crossed paths. But yeah,
Probably.
It's been a very long time.
It's been way too long, and it's stupid because it's not like we live that far away. You're not across country.
No. Only 7.5 to 8 hours by car. You know,
it's doable.
Jumping away.
Yeah, it's doable. It's a nice day trip-ish, if that's what you.
Sure. I'll just roll right out of bed tomorrow. I'll hop in the car and I'll come over and I'll say hi.
Awesome. We'll just have brunch and you can just go right on back.
Yeah.
Well, cool. All right, so let's get into a little background. Like I know some stuff about you, but let's talk about where Lisa was born. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in a small town in upstate New York called Monroe, about 45 minutes north of the city. And I just basically grew up my entire life there. The first time I ever really went away was to go to school. And then I moved back home after school, and I've been here ever since. I haven't really ventured out anywhere since then.
Now, you went to the Art Institute, as we said, and you were studying video. We were in the same department, video production. What brought you to that? What made you want to go study that?
Well, I always knew I wanted to work in the entertainment industry. Growing up, I always wanted to be an actress, but being a quiet and shy person that I've always been, it never really panned out to go that way. So when it was time to choose a college, I had to go somewhere that wasn't an option. So I just figured I might as well do something in the entertainment business. So video production was, a broad generalization. I could find something in there that, would allow me to get into business. And that's why I chose that.
Was there anything in particular that once you were in the program, was there anything that you decided that you loved more about the back end of video production than anything?
Everything kind of had something cool and something different about it. There really wasn't one particular one that I just was drawn to the most. I know you loved editing,
right. So
that was your thing to go to. I enjoyed the idea of being a producer and a director, but again, that's something that you have to be the boss of, something you have to be in control of, and that was just something that always held me back because I wasn't, in my mind back then, I wasn't really strong enough to do something like that. That if I had to pick an area, that would be where it would be.
Well, were you always more quiet and shy, even as a child growing up, or was?
Yeah, well, I'm the only girl. I had two brothers. I was a middle child, and I do like to say middle child syndrome does exist. I got picked on a lot by my brothers, which was normal. And I think that's kind of where it just all started out as. And then as I grew up, it just kind of stayed in my own little shell. And it carried over through middle school and high school. And I just was always just very timid and very quiet and very shy. And it just kept to myself a lot. So it's something I've always been to, and even up until now, it's still this right now is nerve-wracking to me.
Well,
hopefully
it seems
doesn't show, but
no, because I've known you as that timid, shy girl, and I always kind of thought of you when we were in school just more of a little sister, because I almost felt like there are some times that I had to protect you or just try to help you come out of that shell, even though I also was recently coming out of my own shy shell. But when I, seeing your activity on Facebook now and things like that, it seems to me like you've blossomed into excuse me for being cheesy, but you have blossomed into a very confident young woman. And I'm proud of you for doing that, because it looks like, that, shy, quiet Lisa of the past is gone, and you do seem to have much more confidence and to be a lot stronger than as I knew you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm trying not to like let it hold me back anymore. Like I just used to kind of just let the quiet and the fear of everything basically around me just like hold me back and keep me grounded. But I'm trying my best to work past it and move on and move through the fear instead of just having it pull me back and really not do anything for the rest of my life. Because who wants to do that? Who wants to let something so silly and something so stupid just keep you from doing something so great? So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm very slowly moving past that and getting a lot better. So that's something that I'm very proud of.
Well, that's amazing. So does that have anything to do with like, because I also noticed that, you've started with this Living Healthy with Lisa, and with, Shakeology and Beachbodies. Is that
That's correct.
the organization, the company that you're with? So tell me about that. Like, what brought that journey along?
Well, I've been working now for Beachbody for over a year, but my weight loss journey started way long before that, about 5 years ago.
Well, let's start there. Let's start where your weight loss training started.
Sure. I would say I woke up. I mean, I remember the day clearly. My niece was born on April 8th, and she was my first niece, my nephew. She was the first little person born basically into my life.
Okay.
And like I looked at this person and I'm just like, she has a whole world ahead of her, and I wanted to be there for her for all of it. And I wanted to be able to play with her and laugh with her and just like do everything with her that she would ask me to do. And at that point I was over 200 pounds. I was completely depressed and unhappy, and I just kind of like helped me change that. So basically the next morning was when I realized that like I had to change. So I decided to, instead of talking about doing it and half doing it and half not, because like I would yo-yo up and down for years prior to that. I would lose like 15 pounds and then gain 20 pounds back. I would go to the gym, but I wouldn't eat healthy. I said, this time around, I'm going to do everything. So I joined Weight Watchers, and that's where it all started. And I was following Weight Watchers religiously with some friends from work for at least 3 years. And I dropped about 65 pounds. I went from like 205 pounds, which wasn't even my heaviest at that point, to about 135, between 130 and 135 at my lowest. And so that's where it started. And I worked really hard, and I tried my best to stay on that track. And, it's tough because your friends want to go out, they want to do this, they want to go here, you want to go there. So you just have to be strong-willed, and you have to say no sometimes. And that's what I did for 3 years straight. I basically stuck to my guns, and I did what I needed to do. If I went out with my friends, I made sure I picked the healthier versions on the menu. I, was never afraid to ask the waiter to make modifications for me. And I got laughed at a lot, but, I had to do what I had to do because I knew that I had a bigger goal in mind, and I would rather reach that than, let somebody tell me what I should and should not do when it comes to, like, how I order and how I eat. So that's where it started. And then I think I hit about the 3.5-year mark with them, and I needed to change. Like, I kind of just was like, oh, I hit that mark. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I don't really need to follow it anymore. I've learned so much at this point that I know, I know what I need to do. And that is a big no-no. So if anybody ever gets to that point, ignore it.
Well, it's not it's not like you're building a shelf, like a shelving, it's like, okay, I've got all the pieces here, now we're done, I don't have to do anything else, after sanding and cutting and hammering and all that jazz. This is like a consistent thing you need to keep up with. And it's just like anything with ourselves as humans, it's like you got to just keep the practice going.
Yep. The problem with, I find that a problem with that most people who have any form of eating disorder, whether it be anorexia or bulimia, or even people who overeat, I think a lot of people forget that food can be an addiction to some people, whether it's they eat too little or they eat too much, and they use that food as like comfort or fear. And the difference between drugs and alcohol is you need food to survive. You can't really do without it, you know? So I think people kind of like get stuck in that shell where they use food as like that like comfort zone for them that makes them feel better. If you're having a bad day, or if, you know, you're just, even in celebrations, like there's always food around. And 9 times out of 10, it's not healthy for you. Nowhere you go. And I fell back into that routine. I let food, you know, overtake me, and I got to my lowest at 132, and then I just kind of like, I gained about 25 pounds of it back.
Wow.
So, you know, it's, even though I was still going to the gym, I was still letting the food run my life. And while I knew I learned so much, that I figured I had it under control. And I figured that I didn't need to follow a certain plan anymore, that I could eat what I wanted to and go to the gym and still be that tiny little girl that I got to. And it's not true. And I got stuck in that pattern for a good 6 months. And then I got hurt. I had torn a ligament in my knee. And then I had gained some because of that, and because of all the running I used to do, I got like arthritis really bad in there. So like I was unable to exercise for like 4 months.
Oh my God.
So I wasn't exercising, and then I was eating, and the weight just kept piling on and piling on and piling on, and I just got to the point where I was just like, I didn't want to wake up anymore. And I needed something to help me like get back into that mind frame. I needed a workout that wasn't tough on my body, but still challenged me where I could start moving forward and start getting back to where I was when I was doing Weight Watchers. And that's when a friend of mine introduced me to her Beachbody coach, Danielle, and told me about PiYo, which is a mix of Pilates and yoga. And at first I was like, I don't think that's for me. I'm like, the idea of stretching in positions and holding poses for longer than 5 seconds was just something that I didn't really think that I could do. I've always had balance issues when I was growing up, and I was just like, I don't know. But then like I read about it, and it was like one of the top workouts that was really good for anybody who was looking to recuperate from like an injury.
Okay.
Or we're just looking for something to like just tone up a little bit, because it was easier on your body. It wasn't so like blunt. So I said, okay, you know what? Let me give it a try. And that's where Beachbody came into my life, and that's where we're at today.
Gotcha. How did you feel? What was that big change like when you got down to 132? You said your lowest weight. Like, how did that change you or your life?
I don't really think it changed anything on the inside. I mean, I enjoyed doing things a lot more than I used to. Like going shopping for clothes didn't scare me as much as it used to when I was growing up. And the things that like I would look at like in the window that looked good on a mannequin, and I would go in and I would try it on, it looked horrible on me because it was like 50 extra yards of clothing. It changes the way, like, it makes you feel better, but it doesn't make you feel any different, I feel. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's tough to explain. When you've been overweight your entire life, that feeling is never really gone.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you spend so many years hiding, essentially, and, it's really difficult to change that mindset just because on the outside something is different, or even on the inside. Do you feel like you had an eating disorder?
I don't know if I've ever really considered what I had an eating disorder. I know I used food a lot to comfort me in a lot of ways.
Right, as a lot of people do.
At the same time, really wasn't like taught how to eat properly either. Like, I didn't have that growing, I grew up in an Italian family, every time we went somewhere, there was always, like, an abundance of food, and it was always fried, or it was always this, and it was always that. So, like, I never had that education either growing up of what needed to be healthy and what you needed to eat. Like, I knew vegetables were good for you.
Right.
But I didn't have to eat them if I didn't want them. It was just eat what you wanted and go on your way, So I don't know if I ever had an eating disorder, as opposed to some other people.
Right.
But I definitely used food for a lot of, like, comforting mechanisms. And it was always the one thing that was always there for me. Like,
how is that?
If I was at home and I was bored, it was there. Or if I
Right.
was having a bad day, it was there. Like, it was just always something that was there, and it was the only thing at that point that made me feel better about myself.
Okay, yes, I could see that. How has it changed, like the dynamic when you go to family functions and stuff? You mentioned that, it's a large Italian family and there's food all over the place. I mean, it's become like a state of mockery on your family side when you're like picking through what you can and can't eat, or are they like supportive like 100% and will, like, accommodate you and help you out and like make something different for you, or have they adopted the lifestyle of the healthy living
I
choices?
think over the years, they've kind of adopted it more, and not just because of me. I think, as both my brothers grew up as well, and they got older, and they started, getting married and having kids, their health, their look on food has changed as well. They've had wives that are like that as well. So, when I'm with my brothers or even with my mom and my dad, they're good with it. But, when you go, like, to, like, family stuff like that, like holidays and stuff, it's a little bit harder. They're all aware, but they don't come in, they don't, like, leave, like, a crudité platter on the table for me, like, but, and there are times where I do indulge. Like, I don't eat healthy all the time. I have an 80-20 rule where most of the time you will see me with a protein and a vegetable, but then, last night I had a burger and fries because that's what I wanted. So
because you deserved it.
I deserved that burger last night. Let me tell you, it was like the best burger I ever ate. So it's definitely a balance. If I know I have something coming up or I know there's not going to be really a healthier choice for me, then I just make sure that week leading up to it that I'm on point and I work out every day, so that when that day comes and I do have a cheat meal, I don't wake up the next day and I don't feel like, oh my God, what did I do last night?
Right.
Because then that gets in your head and that messes you up, and it makes it harder for you to move forward as well. So you just kind of have to, like, pick and choose your battles sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent way to look at the process. You don't, like, you want to be disciplined and pay attention to what you're doing, but then again, you can't be too hard on yourself when, you stray a little bit from your plan, when you deviate from the plan a little bit, especially if you are, like you said, like if you know that there's something coming up at the end of the week, that you just make sure that you are on point for that entire week leading up to it. And that way you won't feel like you've done something wrong after you've eaten like your burger and fries. So you started with Beachbody. You got a coach. You got a Beachbody coach, and you went on through that. So is that like a boot camp, or is it just more like videos?
No.
I don't.
So now leading into Beachbody, I'm not sure if anybody is aware of Beachbody, but Beachbody is a company that is ran by Zeigler, and it was founded in the late 1990s by him and another guy named John Congdon. Basically, it's a health and fitness company. So if you know who Shaun T is, he does the Insanity
Yes.
workouts, and then Tony Horton does the P90X, and then there's Autumn Calabrese. She does the 21-Day Fix. I know everybody who gets up early and turns the TV on. There's always like one of those infomercials that are on every morning. So basically, that's what Beachbody is. It's a health and nutrition company, and their main focus basically is to turn the obesity rate from where it is at right now and start getting it better. And the numbers basically you don't really know the numbers until you start actually like looking into like how bad it is. Like America right now is one of the top highest countries
Right.
in obesity rate.
Right.
And they
Like we don't know
say
we
that
don't know what we're doing. Like
no, we
seriously.
have no
Like
idea what we're
everything,
doing.
the portion sizes for everything is
Nope.
outrageous.
And like I think 1 out of every 3 adults is considered obese, and 17% of children are considered to be obese, which to me is like a huge number because our kids are
Yeah.
watching us what we
Right.
eat, and we're shopping for our kids. So if we're not doing it, how are they going to learn? How are they going to do it? So it's
Exactly.
just sad to know that our kids are watching us, and instead of doing the right way, we're doing it the bad way, because I don't think a lot of us even know any better either, because that's how we were raised and that's how we were brought up.
Right.
70% of the foods that we eat are considered processed,
Mm-hmm.
which is a large percentage of food that we buy.
Yeah, I mean, there's just
And
full of all sorts of just all sorts of chemicals and processed and just unnatural this, that, or the other. I mean, luckily, we're getting to a point where there are more options, more healthy options available. When I was growing up, we were raised on the health food diet. Like there was no processed food in our house, and there was, we were mostly vegetarian and, dairy and things of that nature. But it was much more difficult because there was like one health food store in our town. And, you can't just go that you couldn't go to Kroger's and, go do grocery shopping. At least now, there's a lot more options, which unfortunately it's not helping. That's not the only solution to what's going on.
yeah.
Yes, the stuff is a little bit more available, but we need to be more educated as to what we
I
need.
think the idea of how expensive, I think people think, oh, in order to eat healthy,
Right.
you have to shell out a lot of money. And I can tell you guys right now, I am not rolling in the dough. I am not making millions and millions of dollars. I work in a cubicle, and I can tell you right now, if I can afford it, anybody else can afford it. And it's really not as bad as people think it is. Like, I'm not telling everybody to go to a health food store. You want to go to the supermarket, go to the supermarket, but make sure you stay to the outside of the market. The middle lanes, those are all the bad sections. Like, those are your food process sections. And I'm not saying that you can't go in there. I still buy some stuff that, I have to go to those middle lanes for. Like, everybody who knows me knows I love peanut butter. And that's not I mean, I can easily make my own peanut butter. It's so simple, but I have time restraints also. So, like, I get it, I understand, but you can't use the health food is way too more expensive, I can't afford it scenario, because it's really not. That's not the case.
Well, basically, it also kind of comes down to it may be a little bit more expensive, but in the long run, do you want to be paying for your health care down the line that's going to when you haven't been taking care of your body properly? That's because one way or another you're going to be shelling out the cash. Like either you pay for it now with making them more healthy choices and the correct choices, or you pay for it later when you're sadly like going to the doctor.
I think in America
medicine.
Per year we spend $190 billion due to health concerns from obesity.
Wow.
That's just that's 1 year in America, $190 billion.
That is
on
insane.
average. I think for one person who's considered obese, they spend $1,500 a year in medical expenses.
My God. Wow.
So you could use that money towards something else other than, and it's definitely tough and it's definitely hard, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you got to clean out your whole kitchen and start fresh now. Like, over time, just start changing things. It's the little things that, that you can start changing now that will affect you further down the line. So basically their goal is to eradicate obesity.
Nice.
And that's really what it boils down to. So they had all this success with all these workouts, but they never really had any good success stories. I can sell the product to you easily, but how do I know you're going home, and how do I know that you're working out? I don't have that. I'm not in your house. I can sell you the tape, but I can't be in your house to put that DVD in your DVD player and tell you to get into your workout clothes and work out for you. So what they started doing was they started doing online forums for people who have already started doing the workouts and started sharing their transformation stories with other people, helping people motivate them and inspiring them to continue on their journey to get where they are. And so one day it just kind of popped into their head, hey, why don't we start paying these people for something they're pretty much already doing for free? And how many more of these people are going to tell their friends about Beachbody and their products and help them get healthier in their lives? And that's how coaching started. And so I think within the company right now, there is about 250,000 coaches.
Wow.
I don't even really like to use the word coach. They're more like online health and fitness coaches.
Okay.
We help to motivate and help to inspire others to follow the same journey that we were on. And the good thing about that also, it helps keep us motivated and helps us keep moving towards that goal. So while we're helping you, you're helping us, because while we may be inspiring to you, watching you with that transformation also is inspiring us to continue on our path as well.
When did you become a coach?
I signed up as a coach right away. I mean, my coach talked to me about PIO. She sold me PIO, and then she got me interested in Shakeology, so I tried a few packets. And I think within like 2 weeks from buying PIO, I signed up as a coach. I signed up as a discount coach, and I wanted basically the discount on the Shakeology. And I didn't really start right away. I didn't really know what it was about. I was like everybody else and said, oh, you know, this is crazy. I'm not going to do this. I just want the discount. So just sign me up as a discount coach. Let me get, you know, the discount on the shakes, and we'll leave it at that. And then she said, okay, no problem. She's like, but I'm just going to throw you in some groups and, you know, just to see what it's about. So she threw me in some coach groups, and just to listen to some of these people and their stories and why they went from being a customer to a coach and how they've inspired other people. It kind of like made me realize that there are a lot of people out there who are like me, who are quiet, who are shy, who are overweight, and who need somebody in their life to get them started in the right direction, because I didn't have that. And I was thinking to myself how much easier it would be if I had somebody who helped me along the way. You know, I had my Weight Watchers coach in the beginning, and I had the girlfriends from work, but like I didn't have anybody to check in with daily. I didn't have anybody who would keep me accountable for it. So I said to myself, I said, why can't I be that person for somebody? Why shouldn't I be that person for somebody? Because there's so many people in this world, in this country, that not everybody can help one person. So why not spread the love a little bit? So that's when I decided to start foraying into online health and fitness and helping other people. So that's where it started. So I would say I've been doing it less than a year. I've been a coach for a year, but I didn't really start until like September or October of last year.
That's a really great way to look at it, about, you know, helping other people through their journeys as the way that, you know, just to kind of to give back, essentially, just to give back a little bit. And it seems to me like, you know, that is also another thing that helped with to boost your self-confidence. Just being able to, you were very well versed in this company, in this organization, and, you know, and it's obvious that you have learned so much about your own fitness and nutritional needs and the struggles that you went through, and you know the numbers, and you know what you need and what's going on, and I just think this has been tremendous for your confidence level. Is that something that you would agree with? Is that, you know, that this helped a lot?
They're just not in the general aspect of, you know, reaching out to like people, not only people I know, but, you know, strangers. Like there are things that I've done in the past year that I probably would have never done before. Like, I've gone to events on my own by myself where I'm in a group of like a room full of people who I've never met before. Like, I would have never done that. Never. Like, I'm like, oh, I have nobody to go with me. I'm not going. Like, I wouldn't even go to the movies by myself. The idea of going the idea of going to a restaurant by myself scared me. Like, you know, I did it when I had to do work stuff, but
right.
You know, a couple of weeks ago I went to Nashville for the first time and to meet everybody in my downline and my upline, and I flew by myself to a city that I've never been to hang out with a bunch of women and men who I've never physically met. I've talked to on the phone and I've been on the computer with, and I've never, like, I would never have done that before. And I spent 5 days with these people, and it turned out to be like the best 5 days of my life. And
Was there some trepidation on your part leading up to it, or were you just like, I got this?
I was a little nervous, you know, and I have to say, like, you know, I probably didn't warm up until like the third day I was there. You know, and like a lot of people on my team, they live in like the same area. Some do, some don't, but it's definitely something I'm not used to, like, you know, warming up to people real fast. And but the fact that I was there and the fact that I did it made it just so much more easier for me. And
what's a big deal?
It is a big deal to go someplace that you've never been to hang out with a bunch of, I don't want to call them strangers because they're not strangers, but somebody you've never physically met before. It's nerve-wracking, but I mean, it was exciting at the same time because I knew I was doing something that I'd never done before, and the fact that I was doing it shows how far that I've come.
Right.
And then
is that something that you would? What's that?
And then tomorrow I'm going to the city to get certified in one of the workouts.
Really?
It's something I would have never even thought about doing at all, ever. Like, you know.
So what does that mean for you? You're going to be getting certified in one of these workouts. Well, now
I'll be able to teach a workout program live in town instead of just doing it at home myself. So, like,
interesting.
So basically, I'll be a trainer. So
how does that make you feel?
Nervous. It makes me nervous. I'm like, oh my God, these people are gonna be like counting on me to make sure I get the moves correctly and make sure I get everything done perfectly. But it's exciting now. Like, I'm gonna be nervous tomorrow when I go, but I know once I get there and once I'm in that room with these people, it's going to be okay because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person in that room that feels the same exact way.
Right.
And so there's a little comfort in that. So definitely it has changed me for the better. And it's something that I would love for other people to have that feeling also, because it's a great feeling to be able to feel better on the inside as well as on the outside, and to be able to do things that you would never have been able to do before because you have the support of all these people in your life that you've never even met before. Like, I consider these people my family, and I've known them for a little less than a year.
That's awesome.
Because everybody is so, like, supportive, and we're all here to do the same exact thing, which is to, you know, help others on this journey and to educate others and to tell people of all ages and all sizes that it is possible if you just allow yourself to do it. And it's a great feeling, and it's something that I'm finally, for the first time in my life, just excited to be part of.
15 years ago, if somebody had told you this would be your life now, what would you have thought? Would you have believed them?
If you were to tell me that I would be healthy and happy and trained instructor, a trained instructor, and to be able to sit here and educate people on the proper way to eat and work out, no, I would have laughed in your face. It would have been like, I'm sitting here at my 8 o'clock morning class in college eating an everything bagel with cream cheese and a 20-ounce bottle of Coke. That was my breakfast every morning. You're going to sit here and tell me that's how it is as you're watching me eat this right now? No, I would have never. Never. So my life has definitely changed. I am not on the path that I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, I'm excited about where I'm going.
Oh, that's
And,
awesome.
there are a lot of skeptics out there. There are a lot of people in my life who don't agree with what I'm doing. They think it's kind of hogwash, but
What?
it's okay because I have other people in my life who support me
Well, that's
and who are
outrageous.
going to be there.
How can they think it's hogwash? It's very apparent. It's very obvious how this has helped you. Like it's not like I don't know what to compare it to and not offend anybody, but it's just like, it's very obvious. Like this has helped you externally as well as internally.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could just knowing you before and now, knowing you after and just like kind of witnessing your transformation and your journey via, Facebook and stuff, I I fully support this Beachbody organization. Like, I'm like, yeah, kudos. Way to go, guys. You guys are doing it. What types of stuff do you do for yourself? Just for Lisa outside of this?
Outside of this, well, my life is like crazy busy. And by the time, I love to cook and I love to bake. That's always been something that I have enjoyed doing. Even now, finding healthier recipes to cook it's fun for me. So that's something I've always enjoyed doing. I don't really have like a lot of downtime except on the weekends. So I spend a lot of time with my nieces and my nephews and my boyfriend and my dog. And I just like to just relax and chill because I'm running around Monday through Friday. It's a whirlwind. Like I get up, I work out, I go to work, I come home, I cook dinner, I go to bed. It's Monday through Friday. Like there's no rest for the weary. I go to work when I'm sick. I go to work in the rain. I go to work in my roommate will tell you, she's like, I don't think I've ever seen Lisa sit down on a couch longer than a half an hour.
Oh God.
Because I'm like constantly like on the move. I don't want to waste a minute of my time. Like that's where I'm at right now. Like I would rather be doing so much more than just hanging out at home and wasting the day away sitting on a couch watching TV. Like I want to do something. Like I want to go out and I want to go for a run, or I want to take my dog for a walk, or I want to go to my nieces and nephews and I want to run around the backyard with them and play with them. I want to go experience new things with Andy. I don't have that desire to sit still anymore.
That's awesome. I am so proud of you, Lisa, for this growth that you've gone through, and it's amazing to see how you have transformed. And like I said, I'm just extremely proud of you.
Thank you.
So we are going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with your top 5 list. And then I'm also going to ask you a rando question from this book I've got.
Okay.
You are listening to the Rugged Angel podcast, where our goal is to highlight women with a story to tell who live out loud or are challenging themselves on the regular. The Rugged Angel podcast is part of the Rugged Angel Productions Network. Please check out our pop culture podcast, Down to Watch, and our podcast dedicated to the Shonda Rhimes hit TV show Scandal, the Scandalized podcast. All can be found at ruggedangel.com or under Rugged Angel Productions on SoundCloud and iTunes. Now let's finish this show. Okay, now it's time for top 5. I gave you the top 5 things you would tell your 16-year-old self. I've also made a list, so I will give you mine.
You or me?
You go first. I'll give you mine after you give me yours. You go first.
Okay. So I was hoping you would give me something like top 5 Friends episodes. Something fun like that, but I'm like,
oh, I'm sorry.
I'm like, oh Lord. Okay, but you know what? This is kind of good because I sat down and I thought about it, and kind of a lot of what I chose has a lot to do with where I'm at right now. Okay. So I think it was a good choice by you. So kudos to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem. So basically, to stay within the same realm that we're in, obviously I would tell myself, like, live a healthier life. Like, learn what you're putting into your body, and that being healthy is okay. And that's probably the first thing that I would tell her. Like, so put that cookie down, pick up a stalk of celery, you know, educate yourself, you know, first. And so if there's anybody who's listening who is younger, who, you know, has no idea, just educate yourself. Start now, because you don't want to wait too long. The earlier you learn, the better. You don't want to end up like me, who's figuring it out at 35 years old. Just start as early as you possibly can. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to change the way you look at a lot of things.
Nice.
Number 2, to be more social, you know, not be as so shelled as I was, to be introvert, you know, being that I was always so quiet, I never really had a lot of experiences. So I think that kind of held me back with a lot of things. So I would tell myself to just, you know, relax. It's not as serious as you think it is. Just go to that group of people down the street, just say hello to them, look at them in the eye, tell them your name, and just talk to them. So, you know, of course, within a certain realm, you don't want to talk to a weirdo and a creep,
right,
and be like, hey, you know, whatever. But and then the third one, to be a bit tougher, to have a thicker skin. I let a lot of people, you know, step on me over the years. Even now, you know, I got bullied a lot in high school. I got made fun of a lot with people. Even, you know, growing up, some of my friends would say stuff, and I just kind of let it go. And I never really stood up for myself. So, you know, I know, so all those kids out there who have been in that position, like, I know how it feels to have somebody talk down on you and make you feel less than you are. And I'm here to tell you that you're not. Everybody is awesome. Everybody is beautiful, whoever you are, whatever you are. So just have a tougher skin. It's going to be difficult and it's going to be hard, but it's the changes that you'll see in yourself when you start to stand up for yourself. It's going to be amazing, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So just that would be the third thing I would tell myself, just to be a bit tougher.
Nice.
And number 4 would be to do more, like to experience life more, to, you know, experience things that I would have never experienced before. Like, I don't think I started doing things until I was, you know, 28, 29. Like, I never really went out of my comfort zone. You know, I did everything that was expected of me, but I never did more. You know, I didn't get a passport for the first time until I was 28 years old, and I went to Italy with my roommate. Like, I should have had a passport at 18. I should have done this when I was younger. So experience life now when you can, because as soon as you get older, it's going to be a lot harder. You're going to get married. You're going to have kids. You're going to have a career. And to do those things is a lot difficult now than it would be when you're younger. So experience life. Anything that's offered to you, do it. And do it with a smile on your face. And don't be scared and don't be afraid, because these things are not handed to you without a reason. So that's what I would say, is to just do more, experience life more, put yourself out there more. Then number 5 is simple, but it was just to have more fun. That's it. Have more fun. Enjoy life. Smile a little bit more, laugh a little bit more, and just be thankful for everything that has been given to you, whether good or bad, because even the bad experiences build you to be who you are today. And I think I wouldn't be here right now if I didn't have that life beforehand to get me to where I am today. So I don't look at those years as like, oh, they were like the worst years of my life. I look at them as like the building blocks. So
Amen. I fully believe that, like, you know, everything happens for a reason, and there's not necessarily these bad turns that you take, but, you know, depending upon if you're happy where your life is now, there are, the missteps that you took were for a reason in the past, and it led you to where you are today. And so yeah, there's like a lot of things in my past that people are like, aren't you, your first marriage, blah blah blah. It's like, no, I mean, it happened. I can't say it was all bad, but at this point I love my life right now, and I couldn't, if X didn't happen, it wouldn't have gotten me to Z. So
Yep.
I agree.
So just embrace, that's all. Embrace everything and put a smile on your face and have a good time, and don't let it ruin you. So
Word.
That's my 5.
That's a good one. I liked it. Okay, so mine, number 1 would be to try out for a play, because I've always I have this, well, not in the last few years, but I used to really have this fear of public speaking or just performing or being on stage, even though like at a young age I was doing a lot of like singing and dancing on stage and performing, but I never really enjoyed it like I should have, because I was just always just trying to, all right, I just need to make it through this song and get off the stage. It's just I'm out here for 5 minutes and I just need to get off the stage kind of thing. And
funny.
And that
kind of definitely fear is a definitely strong thing to have, and it definitely stops a lot of people from doing certain things, and I know it's done for me. So
exactly. So I would try to encourage myself to just enjoy being on stage a little bit more, and to try out for those plays, and you just never know if that's what you want, or it's not necessarily like if you like being in a play or being in the drama club or something like that. It's not to say that that's what you want to do with the rest of your life, that you want to be an actor or an actress, but it's definitely, it'll help you, I feel like, in a lot of other more practical situations in your life. So just where it comes to just a lot of internal expression, or just a lot of what your feelings of fear of speaking in public or talking to people, or just being, I don't know, just being a little more open.
Yep.
Number 2, dresses are okay. I went through like my entire high school career without wearing a dress because
that's too funny.
Because I was like really skinny and just like tall and skinny, and I just did not want to show my legs at all. I would wear, like, even in the summertime, I would wear like oversized boys like basketball shorts, or like those things that were, luckily that was the style back in the 90s. Back then I could get away with like the TLC situation. But
I don't know if you could get around with the condoms hanging off of us.
No,
but,
especially in the Catholic school that I went to, that would have been frowned upon. But but yeah, like I was very anti-feminist, feminist expression. Like I didn't wear any makeup. I didn't really. Most of the like jeans and pants that I bought were boys' pants, because I was very uncomfortable with my body. And and I was also trying to hide, because I wasn't as developed as the other girls in my class, and it was just it's just one of those things. So yes, I would try to
I think that's a good point, for people to know that you don't have to be overweight to feel uncomfortable with yourself either. I know plenty of girls who growing up who were skinny, who never were really comfortable with their bodies either. So, it's good that, people know that it's not just one way or the other to be uncomfortable with yourself. So
we are all on this planet dealing with our own insecurities.
Yep.
Number 3, I would stop trying to be someone that you are not. There was, I don't fit into like this particular mold of what most people would think, that I just looking at me, I don't know, it's hard to put. I didn't let my freak flag fly, basically. I was into a lot of nerdy stuff, but I just didn't want anybody to really know that, because there was this pressure to be cool or to be accepted. And, everybody else is doing this, that, or the other, where, God, if Comic Cons were around when I was in high school, that just would have been amazing for me. That just would have been like the greatest thing ever, to just be able to just let all of it out and just be able to like geek out over certain things, and I would do all that stuff like internally or back, in my safety of my home.
Yeah.
But, it's just, and I feel like I'm just missed out on some things because, oh, it's not cool. Nobody's going to know if, I can't tell anybody that I like this or that. And so that was, I feel like, that kind of plays into your, experience life. Suggestion for your younger self is just that, when you're too busy trying to be somebody that everybody else expects you to be, or that somebody that you're not, you're really missing out on developing your natural self and your authentic self.
Yep.
Number 4, try a little bit harder in school. Like, I was able to like get good grades and everything, but without trying really. And I just always kind of wonder, like, if I had just put just a little bit more effort into, my academics, what could I have been able to accomplish, or what would I have done?
Right. And see, like, I feel like I'm the opposite. Like, I did way too much. And, like, I didn't even get the grades like I wanted to. I'm like, I studied for this test for like 3 hours, and this is the grade I got. Like, this is ridiculous. I should have been like the next person next to me who went out the night before and came in and was like, oh, C, and wound up getting an A+. So.
And number 5, not all women are like these girls. I was bullied a lot, like started in like 5th or 6th grade, and there were a lot of times where it was hard for me to keep female relationships in high school, because they would eventually, girls sometimes get catty in high school and they turn on you. And it'll be like the smallest thing, like you miss a couple days of school, and then all of a sudden, you come back and everybody hates you, or you weren't the wrong thing. It's essentially like Mean Girls. And so I dealt with that. And because of my experience with females and in my younger years, I developed this distrust of female relationships. And so I feel like I missed out on knowing a lot of really awesome women, or allowing myself to know a lot of awesome women, because I just didn't have this trust factor there. Yeah, and I always just felt more comfortable. Yeah, I always felt more comfortable with dudes and just hanging out with guys. But that's something I'm trying to remedy, like in my the last few years of my life, and it's just it's working out much better. And so it's something to know.
It's funny too, because like they always say, if there's a girl out there that's like, oh, I have more guy friends than I do have girlfriends. They always say, well, there's something wrong with you. And, it's like, I don't really think so. Maybe there's something wrong with you.
Right.
Not to saying that there's something wrong with anybody, but girls are mean, and everybody says that every day. So why wouldn't we have more guy friends than girlfriends?
Exactly. It's just something in the where guys they'll have disagreements. They'll fight it out physically, like a drag dog out in the middle of the street, and they'll be best buddies within an hour again. And it's like, but girls, like, you look at somebody the wrong way and it's like years go by before they speak. And it's just, it's crazy. So we need to be better. We need to do better as a female population.
Ladies, we're not, I don't understand what's going on. Like, we don't need to look like if God wanted us all to look like each other, that would be a little weird to me.
Right.
I don't know, I don't want everybody to walk around looking like me. So,
right.
And I wouldn't want to walk around looking like you or him or her or whoever. Like,
we need to embrace our differences.
Different for a reason. So instead of bringing everybody down, just embrace who everybody is and just love them for who they are. So,
right. Love them and learn from other people's differences. And it's just, we're all on this planet together. We're all trying to make it through this life that we've been given, this one life that we have. And it's just, can't we just make it a little bit better and easier for each other and for ourselves?
Exactly.
Stop stressing out over things that don't matter.
Exactly. It's like a waste of time. So
right. That's my list.
That's good.
Thanks. Okay, so I will give you like a fun random question from 4,000 questions for getting to know anyone and everyone. What is the most embarrassing CD, MP3 / tape in your collection?
Oh Lord, I don't know. I kind of like embrace everything that I listen to. I don't really. Oh good God. I know that there's Hanson on my iPod, but that's because my roommate listens to them, and I think when I uploaded my iPod, it got on there. But they have some pretty cool songs, so like I'm not gonna like knock.
Really?
No, I really, you know what? It's the same thing I say. Everybody has their different tastes in a lot of things, and what makes one person's favorite music over another, who are we to judge? So,
Exactly.
you won't catch me listening to hard rap or anything.
That's just not who you are.
I'm not going to like, yeah, no, there's really not like one thing on there. And if you put my iPod on, there's like anything from like the 40s to like today on there. So I kind of like embrace all music, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I listen to, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't think there is.
No, it's like really difficult. It is kind of a difficult question when you're not looking at it. I would say for me, though, at least like, because I'm also like, there's a very wide range of music and genres and time periods and, on my iPod. But I would say the one that I would turn down or roll my windows up if I'm listening to it in the car would be Call Me Maybe. I think that's the one that I'm just like a little bit embarrassed about loving a little bit too much.
Oh Lord, that's too funny. I have a lot of Christmas music that I have on my iPod, and if it comes up in like the middle of June,
right,
then I may turn it down a little bit, but I'll still listen to it because I don't really care. I know I have the Christmas station on in like October at work, and I have it blasting. Like I have people coming over like, "Are you really listening to Christmas music right now in October?" I'm like, "Yes, I am," and do not knock it because I do not care. So,
Well, great. Well, I think we have come to the end of our hour, Lisa, and I just want to tell you that you did great. I know you were nervous, but I'm super stoked about talking to you for this long period of time and learning so much more about you.
Thanks. And if anybody out there wants any more information or anything, I am on Facebook. So
what is your
social media? Say hello.
That Living Healthy.
They can go to either facebook.com/Ziggy ZIGGY 1217, or they can find me. I do have a like page. It's Living Healthy with Lisa. I may change it, so if you're gonna do it now. And I'm on Instagram also under infinite _possibility 79 as well. So nice. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions at all, and I will gladly be able to help you guys out.
Awesome. So much success on your certification tomorrow and everything else that you're doing. You are rocking.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. And first, I want to say that this is awesome what you're doing. I've listened to some podcasts and, of yours, and I think, what you're doing is pretty cool. And the fact that you're embracing women and having them share their lives with you, that's pretty awesome. So kudos to you.
Thank you, darling.
You're welcome, darling.
So yes, let's try to get together at some point in the near future. I would love to see you again.
Yeah,
and thank
definitely.
you. Thank you again for sharing.
Thank you.
This has been a Rugged Angel production.